Hey guys, what's up? It's ArcadeCode here, and today I'm gonna do a video on Gamemaker Studio and how it works, and kind of a small review, kind of a all-in-one video. So, first of all, Gamemaker is a program to build your games or any program, and the Studio version, which I have right here, can export both to Windows and Mac, and you can also pay some more to be able to export to HTML5 and iOS, Android, etc. Now, what you should know is that there is a free version now. It's not as good as the paid version, obviously, but there still is. So, strengths and weaknesses. Let's see. Gamemaker is not the most powerful thing at the moment. It is interpreted, even though they are going to make a new update soon, which will compile directly to C++ for Windows. That is. It does export to a lot of different formats, so it's all cross-platform. You only have to make the game once. And yeah, but 3D is pretty bad actually. It's really good for 2D games though. It really makes a quick job of making 2D games, but 3D is terrible. So, when you open up Gamemaker Studio, this is what you get right here. You have your welcome screen with all your recent files. You can open, create new, import from your old Gamemaker 8.1 or 8 files. You have all your release notes here, the demos that come with the game, tutorials, and licenses which you might want to read if you're going to release one of your games. So we're just going to create a new one here, call it demo A, and it's getting created right now. Alright, so once the thing got created, this window will come up, and I'll talk about what all of this is. So it's very similar to the old versions of Gamemaker, as you can see. What did change is you have an extension and included files type thing folder here. You have your target, which can go right now. I've got Windows, Mac, HTML5, and I don't have Android or Windows 8 doesn't work for some reason with me right now. And you can even set yourself some configurations. All the rest is pretty much the same, apart from this one right here, which is new web server, which I'll talk about in a later video. So, for those of you who are new to Gamemaker, it is an object-based programming thing, which uses, which is quite different because it doesn't really have classes. It has these objects right here, which are slightly different. So, I'll just delete this now, so don't mind me. So, first of all, you can create objects by clicking on this button right here, or go resource, create object, right hand, just to click on this shortcut right here. So this here is the object window, and you have a bunch of different options here. You have a bunch of different events, which are basically shortcuts to programming, so you don't have to hard code them in yourself, which is quite useful. And here you have the name of the object. So let's call this, for example, obj_test. And as you can see, once you press OK, it updates over here. Now, before we start doing anything with this, before I start demoing how objects works, there's also a bunch of other resources we can create. They're basically assets like in Unity, but they're called resources over here. So, for example, you can create a sprite by clicking on this like little Pac-Man icon, and again, you can call it. I tend to call them SPR and something, for example, test. And you can click Edit Sprite, and it has its own built-in sprite editor, and you can mess around with it. It is pretty good actually. I tend to like it a lot because of the different functionalities it adds, and it's really good for pixel images. It's not the best if you want to make really precise and really good-looking images, like 3D-ish and stuff. But it does have a few cool built-in things. For example, you can see it has a built-in gradient field, for example, which I really liked. It really gives this really cool finished effect to your sprites once you finished it. So in your object test you have all these different options over here. You can click like change the sprite over here, and you have these little other options which I'll talk about later in another video. So events basically work pretty like simply, really simple. You have the create, which is basically your constructor if you are working in Java, which is when you create your game, it will create your object, it will execute everything that's inside. I tend to mostly use code, which is part of the control. So let's talk about how code editing works. Alright, so first of all, to be able to create some code, the easiest way is to create split something, for example in the create event, just by click add event, create. Then you can go in the control tab over here by clicking on it and drag and drop the code to just the normal one, not the one with the green arrow, that's different. And here you have the code editor, so you can type stuff in here, and for example code, let's see, this is code, and just so you guys notice, I used 3 forward slashes over here, and that will basically make this say this is code over here. And then you can just do some stuff, for example x plus equals to 5 or whatever. I'll make another video covering how the code works in Gamemaker, and we'll talk about this later. And you have a bunch of other events like mouse clicks and a whole bunch of interesting things here. You also have rooms, which you can see you can create by clicking this sort of little window icon. This is where you have all your different things, so you can just click to place your objects and select the one you want. I only have one here, but obviously you can choose some other ones. And something that's new in Studio, which is really cool, is that you get to resize them. Now that's really good, because if you're making an advanced level, you don't have to like make like, you know, sometimes I remember when I was making platformers, I would have small block bigger, etc, and that just got messy at the end, because I would just have a lot of different things. Now I know it's better practice doing so, but in a room it's still very useful to do so. You can also rotate them, which can also be pretty useful. I don't tend to use this a lot because I'm not sure, I don't like doing this, but it is definitely really cool. You can even change the color, which I never did, but okay, I didn't know you could. Here you go. Right, so these are rooms which you need them in order to play the game. The one on top will be the first one to open, and then you can use functions and different codes to swap between them. I'll also cover sounds, which you can create by clicking this sort of speaker icon. There is no built-in sound editor, because that's just, you know, it's not part of Gamemaker. And you can just load a sound, any kind of sound. I'm not going to do this here. But you have a bunch of other interesting options. You can even change the bitrate and quality. I tend not to touch it just to preserve the best like quality. But if you're planning to make a phone game or something, you definitely want to change that. And backgrounds are just like sprites, but they act as backgrounds and can be used for 3D. Now you have to remember that 3D isn't very good in Gamemaker, and if you're going to make a 3D game, you should probably follow my Unity tutorials on my channel. Finally, there's also the options right here, which you can change a lot of different options. They're actually, some of them are quite advanced, and if you're just starting using Gamemaker, which you probably are if you're watching my videos, well, you should probably not mess too much around with them. Maybe just in you know, the display name and stuff. And just one more thing, you can save obviously and play your game just by pressing the play icon. And we should see over here a window appear anytime now. Here you go, with a bunch of squares I did put, and you can see it all scaled properly, just like in the room. Now, I think that's all, guys. So that was just a quick introduction to how let's see, to how Gamemaker Studio works, and just the basic interface. It was pretty fast, and if you didn't quite catch all what I said, you can either rewatch the video or watch. There are plenty of tutorials and information on the internet. Anyhow, that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful if you just started using GameMaker, and I'll see you guys next time for some more tutorials where I'm probably going to cover the use of scripts and how they work.